My name is Jonathan Koltash. I'm currently senior counsel in charge of litigation for the Pennsylvania Department of Health. And I went to Widener and I graduated in 2007.
Okay. So, Jonathan, what is one behavior or quality that a government attorney must possess?
I think there's a higher level of duty or truthfulness, I think, that's required. Not that all lawyers aren't truthful by their nature, but I mean that we represent the public good or the public interest. So from my perspective, it's not just about winning the case. It's about winning the case, and it's about doing what's good work for your client, but it's also, my client is, in addition to the governor and the general counsel and the administration, it's also the public. So I have that kind of higher regard of my cases to make sure that we're doing right, not just winning the cases.
So what drew you to practice in the public sector rather than the private sector?
A couple things. The first was I liked the work-life balance, to be frank. I could get experiences faster. I have probably had dozens of opportunities to argue before the Commonwealth Court, both in bonk and in panels. I've had 2 federal jury trials, at least 2 Court of Common Pleas jury trials, hundreds and hundreds of administrative hearings, a lot of experience. I might have had to wait a long time to get in the private sector, in only about 9 or 10 years in the public sector. So I've had a very diverse career. The work-life balance and just the kind of work and the opportunity.
So you mentioned work-life balance. So what advantages do you find working in the government that benefit your work-life balance as opposed to the private sector?
I'm not beholden to a billable hour, so I can spend time learning the law and researching the law, and I'm not concerned about who am I billing this to. I can spend more time on my cases. I also, it's not to say, a lot of people think working for the government is a 40-hour week and that's it. It's not. There are many weeks when I probably work hours very much like the private sector, but there's a lot of flexibility too. Because I don't have billable hours when my work is complete and it's quality, I'm done. All right, so that's kind of the nice part about it.
Okay. So what advice would you give to students trying to figure out what their career goals are?
Internships. I think get as many experience as you can, all right? Do something in the public sector, do something in the private sector. You can get at least 2 internships between first and second year and second and third year. Use those. Don't, just because you might have one that pays well after first year, don't necessarily stay with that one. The other thing I didn't do it, I kind of regret having not done it, which is a clerkship afterwards. I think you get to see the law from a more global perspective, especially in the appellate courts, the Superior Court or the Commonwealth Court. You get to see different areas of law that might help you hone where you want to go. Probably my regret is I didn't start with a clerkship.
When you were in law school, what courses interested you the most, and how do those courses directly relate to what you're doing today?
I enjoyed administrative law. I had, at the time, Dean Getted, and I really enjoyed administrative law. Ironically enough, I enjoyed a lot of the code-based classes, federal income tax, sales, secured transactions. I don't do any of that work, but I think taxation, but those classes helped me read statutes, and a lot of what I do for the government is code and statute based, and I think that had really helped. I also enjoyed con law, and so I think that kind of helped as well, just the general understanding of the Constitution.
And if you could describe, what's the culture like in government work?
I think it's very collegial. We work very much as a team. I mean, I have my cases, I have colleagues that have their cases, but it's a lot of handing stuff off, working together, soundboarding each other. Because we're not beholden to billable hours. Sometimes we can share and work together as a group more than I think you can, because we don't have to worry about who we're billing to. And I've enjoyed that. I get the chance to pick the brain of some senior people. I've had the chance to teach some younger people. And so it's kind of a nice mix in that respect.
Okay, so lastly and most importantly, how was Widener contributed to your success as a government attorney?
In 2 ways. First, education was very practical based. In addition to the theoretical classes that you have to take and prepare you for the bar, there was advanced appellate advocacy I took while I was here, a couple of the classes with Professor Dean, which were very practical based, and they taught me the skills I needed. The moot court program brought a lot of alumni in. Those were skills that were invaluable to me, and they're real life, and I could apply them immediately. And the second reason was opportunity. Being here in the Capitol, I had the opportunity to have internships and externships in the government and so forth, where I got an opportunity to learn hands-on right from the beginning.
Thank you.